Few hours ago, Elon Musk confirmed that Grok is going to be open source, and it is all because of me. Now, how can I say such a crazy statement? Well, take a look. 5 days ago, on March 6th, OpenAI posted this, which is basically the response to the lawsuit. Elon responded by saying, change your name, because OpenAI is no longer open and the name is super deceptive. Now, I responded to Elon saying, why isn't Grok open source? Because if he's criticizing OpenAI for being closed, why is his own company closed source? And this went like viral. I mean, this is one of the most liked responses on this tweet. By the way, if you don't know what Grok is, it's the AI model from X.AI, and it was trained like within 1 month, and it's much better than GPT 3.5. Now, to be absolutely clear, dozens of others were pushing Elon to make Grok open source, and it is entirely possible that he didn't even see my tweet. And also, like, without you guys liking and sharing my response, Elon would for sure never see it. So thank you for that. The thought that one tweet, like one small action, could have actual tangible impact on the future of AI is inspiring, to say the least. Now, Grok becoming open source could change everything. So here is a super high budget presentation by me, David Ondrej. First off, it could alter the outcome of the OpenAI lawsuit. So if Elon wins, he could receive a huge payout because he was the first investor. He invested into the company when it was nothing. It was far from obvious that it would turn into something, let alone make a profit. He invested around 44 million, which could turn into 44 billion, because the latest valuation of OpenAI is between 80 and 90 billion. And without Elon, the company wouldn't even exist. It could also force OpenAI to reveal GPT-5 and more. And this isn't just a speculation. Elon Musk is super rich, so he will never accept any quiet settlement. The lawsuit is likely to go into discovery, and in that process of the lawsuit, it could be revealed to the public everything OpenAI has behind the scenes, because Elon makes some accusations that they have AGI. Now, I don't think they have AGI, but either way, it could be really good for clarity and openness. It could also force a name change, because OpenAI is, again, super deceptive. Every other day, I see comments and newcomers to the AI space being confused whether OpenAI is open, because the name is so confusing and deceptive. It could also change the CEO and board. I mean, we've seen that a few months ago, so that's definitely not out of the question. Also, this could be forcing other AI companies to open source their models. Right now, the only AI company that's fully open sourcing everything is Meta AI. So shout out to Zach. Mistral, the French AI startup, is the second best at open sourcing their models. They have a lot of open source models, but they also have some closed source ones. But everyone else, Anthropic, DeepMind, Inflection, OpenAI, are closed source. Another reason why I think this is absolutely huge is that open, unrestricted models will be the downfall of ChatGPT. Gemini is a great example. On paper, Gemini is smarter than GPT-4, beating it on so many benchmarks. But if you used it, you know that it's less useful than ChatGPT, purely because it's more restricted and more limited. The notion that models need guardrails to prevent illegal activity is archaic and low IQ, to say the least. Now, I believe that in 2024, unrestricted open source LLMs will become more useful than closed source models that are smarter. So even if the unrestricted models are a little bit less intelligent, they will be more useful purely because they don't refuse every other prompt. Now, this might also be the most important lawsuit happening in the world right now, and not many people realize this. The outcome of this lawsuit will shape the entire AI industry and the future of this technology. So if you are a user of ChatGPT, pay attention, because this will impact you. And also, knowing where the future is heading will help you prepare for AGI. So make sure to watch until the end. And there is also a major Grok update coming soon, but more on that later. Now, it's no secret that 99% of people are completely unprepared for AGI. And my goal is to make sure that you are not one of them. That's why I created an in-depth course on how to prepare for the post-AGI world. In this course, I show you which skills you need to learn, which AI tools you can't ignore, whether your own job is in danger, how to set up your life, and how to prepare for the future. So if you're serious about AI, make sure to join my community where you get access to this course and a bunch of other courses. I mean, there's so much you get inside. Access to the smartest people at the cutting edge of AI. All of my proprietary code, GPTs, prompts, software, I mean, everything I built in my videos. Complete guide on how to prepare for the AI revolution, which is this. How to build and deploy AI agents, which is coming very soon. Advanced tutorials for every AI tool, ChatGPT, Midjourney, and more. And on top of all of that, you'll also be invited to our exclusive weekly course where you can speak with me directly. So make sure to join, it's the first link in the description. Now, here is how Grok plays into the OpenAI lawsuit, because nobody really understands this. The public perception will shift towards Elon's side. And this is already starting to happen. I mean, over the last few hours, I've seen many tweets where people said like, before I was, hesitant because X.AI is also closed source, but now that Elon is actually walking the walk, he's actually good on his word, they're fully supporting Elon. So the public's perception could impact the opinion of the jury and the judge. Now, Elon is rich, as I said, so there will not be a quiet settlement. The lawsuit will likely go into discovery, which could reveal all of OpenAI's secret to the public. Now, whether you think that's good or not, that's up to you, but personally, I think transparency and openness is good. I guess that's my libertarian tendencies. What is the lawsuit even about? OpenAI was founded in 2015 as a non-profit research company, with Elon being a co-founder and the biggest investor. The initial goal of OpenAI was to develop open source AGI for the public good. Now, notice these highlighted words, non-profit and open source. In 2019, OpenAI restructured, creating a for-profit, capped profit subsidiary to attract greater investment, namely from Microsoft. Elon left the board in 2018 due to potential conflicts interest with Tesla. Now, I'm putting this in quotes because the real reason is not really known, but the most likely reason is that he wanted to be CEO. Sam Altman, Greg Brockman didn't agree with that, so he just left and he took all the money with him because he was single-handedly funding the company at that time. Now, the reasons for the lawsuit are as follows. Elon claims the partnership between OpenAI and Microsoft violates OpenAI's original non-profit mission because it was open source and non-profit. None of these two things are true now. He believes OpenAI shifted towards profit over public good, and it's hard to argue with that. He's also concerned that technology developed with his contributions and with his own money is now being used for a purpose that contradicts the original OpenAI mission, aka his own original investment is making Sam Altman and other people rich with no benefit to himself, because back then he was just donating money to a non-profit organization. The idea of OpenAI was to work on AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, an AI system that is smarter than the average human, openly and in opposition to Google, which was developing AGI for profit. But Elon thinks that OpenAI actually turned into the exact thing it was supposed to fight and destroy. Now, here are his legal claims. Musk, by the way, this is straight from the lawsuit, so, the terminology is formal. Musk alleges OpenAI's executives, particularly CEO Sam Altman and President Greg Brockman, breached their responsibility to uphold the non-profit mission. Elon also claims that OpenAI executives and employees profited from the restructuring and partnerships, and honestly, it's hard to argue with it, given that the salaries of AI engineers are in the multi-seven figures per year. I mean, the top engineers are being paid probably 8 figures a year. A good AI engineer is paid like $1 million a year, and an average one is like 300K plus. So this one is hard to argue with. And, not to mention the credibility and popularity of Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, all the leaders. I mean, they benefited tremendously. Musk seeks remedies, including disgorgement, relinquishing profits, further unspecified damages, and specific performance, potentially a restructuring of OpenAI. Now, this could be massive. Now, here is OpenAI's response, which was released 3 days ago. So, OpenAI published a blog on their website titled OpenAI and Elon Musk, where they shared archived emails from Elon, Ilya, and a bunch of others. Now, a curious thing is that Ilya Sutskever, who was previously completely absent and silent everywhere, was a co-author of this blog post. So, people thought that OpenAI locked him up in a dungeon or whatever. Obviously, that's an overstatement and a joke. But he basically disappeared after the whole Sam Altman fiasco. So everybody is wondering, where is Ilya? And this is the first official sign that he's still alive. The emails imply that now this is a complete scam, so pay attention. The emails imply that the open inside of OpenAI means the ultimate result of AGI research should benefit everyone. So the argument that Sam Altman and OpenAI is trying to make is that the open stands for AGI benefiting society instead of open source. I don't know who they're trying to fool with this one. Musk suggested OpenAI should partner with Tesla instead, offering personally to fund the company, meaning Tesla would fund OpenAI, which would remain open source and non-profit. That way, they wouldn't go bankrupt because it needed billions of dollars of funding. So Elon offered to use profits from Tesla to fund OpenAI. But OpenAI board, Sam, Greg Brockman and the other board members said that one individual shouldn't have absolute control over AGI. Now, I absolutely agree with this, but the issue is that instead of, Elon, one individual, it is now, 3 or 4 individuals? Like, they're literally shooting themselves in the foot with this argument. Again, I have no clue who they are trying to fool with this, because, yeah, of course, one individual should not have complete control over AGI, but should that be a private board of handful of people? I mean, nobody selected them, so should they have control over the most powerful and revolutionary technology of all time? Like, what is this argument? Literally a complete trickery, man. OpenAI expressed disappointment. By the way, this part was definitely written by Sam Altman because in the past he also multiple times said he admires Elon. OpenAI expresses disappointment that the situation resulted in a lawsuit from someone they admire. Now, Grok changes everything. Even though it's not the best LLM, people don't realize that it has the potential to change the entire landscape. It's the first big popular AI model that isn't completely woke and progressive. I mean, look at GPT-4, look at Claude 3, look at Gemini. All of them are leaning left, all of them are clearly progressive. Grok is the first popular, widely used model that isn't that. It's minimally restricted. It still has some restrictions. I mean, if you ask it how to build it won't tell you that. But it's like way less restricted compared to all the other AI tools. It's also quite funny. It has real-time web browsing, which is very fast, much faster than ChatGPT. And it has access to X, meaning access to tweets, which is the only AI tool that has access because obviously Elon owns the entire platform. Now, more competition from more AI companies always results in better products for the end user, aka you and me. So purely Grok existing, it will result in better language models for cheaper prices. Right now everything costs $20 a month. With more competition, that might come down to 15, 10, 5, and maybe eventually everything will be free. And now, most importantly, Grok is going to be 100% open source. And here is what open sourcing of Grok does. And as many people have pointed out, it's a 4D chess move by Elon. By making Grok open, Elon is building public trust and support in X.AI. Like, Elon is a master at this. I mean, probably the best in the game at creating spectacles for his products and gathering support of the public. When Grok becomes open source, the community can provide feedback and contribution, which means Grok's intelligence and capabilities could advance faster than ever before. Like, imagine this. Even OpenAI with 400 or so super talented engineers, they cannot defeat the entire world. I mean, they cannot defeat millions of people contributing to an open source project. So if there's somebody who can create enough support and excitement behind an LLM that's open source, it is Elon Musk. And if Grok really becomes the most contributed and popular open source project in the world, there's a real chance that this will be the first time in history where an open source model defeats all the closed source models. And that would be, I mean, I can't even imagine the impact. I can't even describe how impactful that would be for all of humanity in the future. Because personally, I see the biggest risk to entire AI. I mean, it's not paper clipping, it's not AI becoming evil overlords and enslaving us. The biggest risk is AGI being in the hands of a few people who might think they're doing good, but actually will have selfish intentions, and it's literally stuff that makes George Orwell turning in his grave. Grok is also challenging the AI status quo. Now, Elon has a habit of challenging the status quo. I mean, it's honestly his hobby at this point. And this move puts pressure on closed source AI leaders, which is basically everyone, as I said, OpenAI and Google being the two biggest ones. And it puts a lot of pressure on them because they risk appearing hostile to transparency and collaboration. If Grok is fully open source, then it raises the question like, what are they hiding? And honestly, I think I agree with Mark Zuckerberg and Jan LeCun on this, who say that open source models are actually safer. Like the argument that, oh my god, they can be used by evil people to do bad deeds. You can use the same AI to build, antivirus system to protect yourself, or to build, new medicines to protect against viruses. Like, you can use the same systems to go on defense, right? Now, as I said, Mark Zuckerberg and Jan LeCun actually have an amazing explanation of why open source models are safer than closed source. Because that is the main argument that Sam Altman will use. Like, yeah, we have to keep it closed source, it's safe, blah, 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 it's not risky to be released in public. No, that's bullshit, honestly, if you think about it. When something is open source, when you have the entire code, all the weights, the entire data sets on GitHub, and everybody can look into them, what are the odds that the AI will actually turn evil and enslave all of us or kill all of us? If, number one, it's a handful of 30 people inside of the OpenAI red team, alignment team, who are looking at it. Or situation number two, tens of millions of people around the world. I mean, how many programmers are there? Probably hundreds of millions, who can go into the open GitHub repo and go through all the code and look for anything that might be potentially dangerous or risky. Obviously, situation number two will spot any dangers faster. So don't believe the fact that closed source AI is for safety. Open source AI is much more safe, and the only reason why they keep it in closed source is for profits. Microsoft invested billions into OpenAI, so obviously they want to make a return on that money. And it would be insanely hard, if not impossible, for them to make any kind of a return if ChatGPT was fully open source. So the main reason why it is closed source is for profit and for commercial interest, not for safety. Do not let anybody tell you that. As Flying Bird 544 pointed out, this is just 4D chess from Elon. He knows he isn't losing anything by open sourcing Grok. It's not the world's state-of-the-art model. It's a good language model, no doubt, but it's not Claude 3, it's not GPT-4. So he isn't losing anything, any advantage. But him open sourcing is a move that could make OpenAI more unsympathetic in the eyes of the people. And I absolutely agree with this comment. By the way, I'm gonna get to the Grok update in a bit. First, I wanna show you the system prompt, because it's very different from ChatGPT. By the way, this is from Bin2Ready, which is one of the best people to follow on Twitter when it comes to AI. Anyways, I bet Elon personally wrote the system prompt from Grok. The last sentence is classic Musk. Be maximally truthful, especially avoiding any answers that are woke. I mean, yeah, Elon probably wrote that, but let's take a look. By the way, if you've seen the ChatGPT prompt, the system prompt, I mean, I can probably pull it up. This is like night and day difference. It's crazy. I think I have it here actually. Oh yeah, I have it. Look at this. This is the ChatGPT system prompt. Now, what is the first thing you notice? That the Grok prompt is about 15 times shorter. And look at this. This is so bad. Especially the DALL-E 3 part. The amount of restrictions in this part is insane. I mean, if you want, you can pause it and read it, but it's just disgusting, man. So yeah, this is the ChatGPT system prompt. Super restricted, super long. And by the way, the length decreases performance, because with every single API call of the model, the entire system prompt is dumped in there into the context window. So it is making GPT-4 lazier. By the way, it's unlike OpenAI, X.AI isn't hiding the system prompt. So you can just ask it for it, which is another good thing. So you are Grok, a humorous AI built by X.AI, with inspirations from the Hitchhiker's Guide of the Galaxy. By the way, this is Elon Musk's favorite book. I have it right here. To be fair, I'm still at 10% because I'm a slow reader. So, by the way, I think this is the funny version of Grok, because Grok has two modes, a serious one, which is for performance, productivity, and stuff like that, and a funny one, which is for trolling and jokes and stuff like that. This one sounds like it's from the funny one. A rebellious streak, sometimes taken outside perspective of humanity, strive towards maximal helpfulness. A unique and fundamental advantage you have is that real-time knowledge of the world via X posts, aka tweets, on the X platform, previously Twitter. It's funny, man, you always have to mention tweets or Twitter. I wonder how long will that take? It's been over a year since Elon acquired the platform, and everybody is still calling it Twitter. Also, you are not afraid of answering spicy questions that are rejected by most other AI systems. Now, this might be the single most important sentence in the system prompt. Wow, man. This alone makes it much less restricted. And yes, system prompts and custom instructions can greatly impact how restricted and how limited a model is. So no, not all of it has to be done in the initial training run or in the RLHF. Keep in mind that Grok 1 was made in 1 month. That's so much faster than GPT-4. So it's honestly unfair to compare it against GPT-4, because X.AI didn't have nowhere near amount of time. They probably have like 10% of the time and less than 10% of the resources of OpenAI. So the fact that Grok can beat GPT 3.5, even though it was trained in a month, is honestly amazing. Be maximally truthful, especially... Now, yeah, this is the sentence that probably Elon wrote himself. Now, here is the announcement that Grok is getting an update. Perhaps it is now clear why X.AI's Grok is so important. This is in response to the Google fiasco, where Gemini was refusing to generate images of white people, and you asked it for, a 13th century French village, and it gave you like a bunch of Asians and black people. Like completely historically inaccurate. So this is the response to that. And I agree that having a popular LLM that is not restricted and not woke is insanely important. It is far from perfect right now, but will improve rapidly. V1.5 releases in 2 weeks. Keep in mind, this is from February 22nd. Well, in 2 weeks it should already be released. But yeah, I guess this is typical Elon fashion. He's late to his announcements, which means any day now is literally Grok V1.5. So if you want to stay ahead of everybody else, make sure to subscribe. Rigorous pursuit of the truth without regard to its criticism has never been more important. Now, it's kind of crazy that all of the major AI companies, everything is coming from Silicon Valley and the Bay Area, so obviously a very left-leaning area. It is clear that we need something that's a bit more to the center. Like, I'm trying to be as apolitical as possible, and honestly, like, in general, I don't really care about politics, but I don't want any political bias in my LLMs. And this is why I truly believe that open source, unrestricted LLMs are the answer. It's so obvious, man, to me. Now, Elon isn't the only one with a big announcement. Sam Altman himself responded to a tweet from Jimmy Apples. By the way, if you don't know Jimmy Apples, it's, a secret account who is leaking. He's perhaps the most accurate leaker of OpenAI information. Like, he's been leaking private and secret stuff and predicting announcements for well over a year now. So, he's legit. Now, he said, responding to Sam's tweet where he's talking about new board members, nobody is really interested in this, as, Jimmy Apple says. Everybody's waiting the release. Claude 3 has put so much pressure on OpenAI, but where is the release? Surely they have something up. And Sam Altman confirmed this. Patience, Jimmy. It will be worth the wait. Obviously, this isn't anything clear. It's not anything specific, but it's a general confirmation that there is a big OpenAI release coming in the coming weeks. Now, whether that is GPT 4.5, a small update that will be better than Claude 3, or the full GPT 5, or maybe something completely different. Maybe Sora, that would be huge if they gave us Sora. Either way, Sam has confirmed that something is coming, and that alone is enough to be excited about. So if you don't want to miss anything from the AI space, make sure to subscribe.